The harder you fight nature, the harder it will fight back. Good morning, my name is Ellie Connor, and today I'll be talking to you about natural resources and the lessons they have taught me. Nature's ultimate goal is to achieve balance. When soil is imbalanced, for instance when it's too dry, or the pH levels are unstable, weeds tend to grow. Nature is constantly working hard to get back to its natural state. When you kill a weed, other weeds in its place will only grow back stronger. If humans left and nature had time, plants would grow through roads, buildings would collapse, and animals would fall into their own regulation cycles. Nature would be able to do just fine without us. So why do we fight nature? If we learn from our natural resources, such as pastures, soil, water, and the interaction amongst them, we can learn to live harmoniously with nature. I live on a farm, which means I get to experience one of the most basic forms of domesticated nature, pastures. Every year, my family goes out to our pasture near Carthage to fix fence and move cattle. It's one of my favorite times. The smells are amazing. Everything is fresh, and there's hints of clovers, flower, and earthiness from the soil. It's also where I get to see the most animals in one place, from bees, crickets, and mosquitoes to turtles, foxes, deer, and rabbits. There are so many animals on our pasture because it's where they have the most freedom. These animals aren't near any large towns or cities, so don't worry about or depend on humans as much as those near more densely populated areas. The main reason there are more animals is because the soil is in one of its most elemental states. This soil hasn't been plowed up for farming or development, which would be detrimental to many life cycles. This attracts more animals because they can work as nature always intended them to. Much of what the Midwest and South Dakota was covered in before humans was flat grasslands and pastures, which allowed for a wide variety of animals in an undisturbed habitat. A true test that can show the difference between worked and unworked land is the tighty-whitey test. This soil test is completed by putting a pair of cotton briefs in varying soil types. The undergarments placed in unworked natural land are decomposed by a variety of organisms. Comparatively, the undergarments placed in tilled or toiled land don't fall apart or crumble as easily. Plowing isn't as common of a practice as it used to be, but the action of plowing moves the soil and breaks up the aggregates in the soil, turning them into finer pieces. This is very disrupting to the microbiomes within the soil. Plowing and tilling can also affect how water works with the soil. When the soil is finer, it takes longer for water to flow through compared to when it's in aggregates. To visualize this, we can think of flour versus coffee grounds. When water is poured over flour, which can represent tilled and finer soil, it cannot flow through very quickly. Conversely, when water is poured over coffee grounds, which can represent the soil and aggregates, it can flow through more freely. It is important that water can infiltrate the soil to reach all parts of the root so that plants can survive and thrive. Plowing and tilling, although sometimes necessary, is very harmful to the soil and all things in it. Water itself can also teach us lessons. Water does not resist its obstacles, but instead finds a way around them. I know I can let one thing someone said or did get in my head, but why waste a good day on one bad thing happening? Water can teach us that we should not get stuck behind our obstacles, but instead find a way to flow around them. Everything has a purpose. We wouldn't have all these natural resources if they didn't all have a purpose. My class this year learned all about food webs and chains in biology. We learned that if plants are taken out of the web, animals have nothing to eat. If predators are taken out, there's an overpopulation. This can relate back to how every person has a purpose. We might not always know or understand what that purpose is, but it's usually something much bigger than ourselves. Maybe you were put on God's green earth to create something new, make someone smile, or be someone's learning opportunity. Regardless of purpose, we are all here to learn something, and we can learn a portion of that from nature and its resources. Thank you.